I'll go through here.
All right, we're gonna call the August 15th meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Murray? Here. Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Here. Mr. Beckler? Here. Mrs. Keeper?
Here, this time we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, does anyone desire to add, delete, or separate any items of the consent agenda as proposed? No. All right. This time I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented for the regular board meeting on August 15th, 2022.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. This time I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on July 18th of 2022.
So moved. Or.
Roll call.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. Is there any board members with correspondence? Mr. Carroll? Mr. Smola? Would you like to continue recognizing our guests and visitors?
Have a few guests with us at this time. Please just introduce yourself.
Carrie Brown.
I'm Jeff Ravens. Brady Roofer.
Jenny Conrad. Doris Piper. Sharon Brown.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Seeing that no one has registered to address the board, we'll continue on with Mr. Carroll and the financial report.
Thank you. So our normal reports, month-end financial reports. These are for the month of July. Top page is the cash reconciliation. That's where all of our funds are located. This shows that we are balanced to the bank. The financial summary by fund, that is where our funds are currently appropriated. After that, we have our cash summary. That is the balance in each of our funds. And the disbursement summary, these are the checks that we have issued throughout the month of July. First graph you see is the general fund graph compared to the 5-year forecast. It's a little funny just because it's the first month of the year. So there's we're only comparing 1 month out of the entire year. Next one is our payroll and benefits chart compared to last year. So it's in line with what would be expected. And the last graph is our income tax collection. This is the first collection that we received this fiscal year. Out of the 4 payments that we get, this is typically or historically the biggest one. So it was received. The next one will be in October. Do you have any questions? Have we had anything to go over anything? No, we have reached out to the county auditor. I think they're waiting to get some more information before they communicate actually.
Any further questions for Mr. Carroll? All right. At this time, we will go through the financial agenda. We need to approve the July 22 financial report, cash reconciliation, financial summary, cash summary, disbursement summary report. We also need to approve permanent appropriation for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2023. This time, I just need a motion to approve the financial reports and other financial items.
So moved. Support.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. We move on to personnel. We will need to approve supplemental contracts and volunteers for 22-23 school year. Offer the following supplemental contracts and approve volunteers for 22-23, pending the completion of all people activity permit requirements. John Langneffer for JV boys basketball, Alexander Lutheran, head track coach, Colin Schuster for volunteer esports coach. We also need to approve Columbus High School and middle school paid or volunteer vet workers for the 22-23 school year. Mary Carson for E. Hendricks, Ashley Kerr, Leah McVeigh, Dee Feedback, Tara Hendricks, and Logan McKelvey. We need to approve the classified and certified substitute list provided and maintained by the Northwest Ohio Educational Service Center and the district's classified substitute substitute list for the 22-23 school year. We will also need to approve Barb Hoyer as a substitute high school counselor at a per diem rate of $250 for the 22-23 school year, as well as approve and extend additional days for the 22-23 school year for Cindy Kinkelman, high school guidance office of 5 days, and Amanda Green, middle school guidance office for 10 days. Need to approve all Evergreen teachers for the 22-23 school year for approved additional hours or to supervise and or instruct students, including but not limited to SAPs, SOS tutoring, and after-school detention or Friday school at the current hourly contracted rate. I'd like to offer the following non-teaching one-year limited contract effective at the start of 22-23 to Rita Brand as a bus driver. And we need to amend the limited contract for non-teaching employees with Melissa Nagy, accounts payable, to include the EMIS district enrollment coordinator responsibilities, and to increase the contracted days to 260 with a total annual salary of $49,329.90 effective August 3rd, 2022. At this time, I just need a motion to approve the above listed personnel positions.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or discussion?
What's Friday school?
It's a 3-hour detention on Fridays if they've missed regularly scheduled detentions or a more severe infraction. It was Saturday school.
That's the same day as school. Okay. That's after school?
Correct.
All right.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver.
Yes, motion carried. We'll move on to other business. We need to authorize the superintendent to enter into agreements with accredited colleges and universities with educational preparation programs for the purpose of allowing the placement of education preparation students in our district schools for the 22-23 school year.
Support.
Questions or discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, at this time, we'll have to do some fill in the blank here. We need to name a delegate and an alternate for the Ohio School Board Association meeting at the Capitol Conference in November.
You want to do it again?
Sure, yeah. All right, I will be the delegate. The alternate is just in case I don't make it, an alternate, usually done.
I can order it.
Okay.
If it requires the same amount of time as last year, I'll be fine.
I got you. All right, so we'll need a motion to approve Nora Kiefer as the Evergreen Local Board of Education delegate and Don Smith as the Evergreen Local Board of Education alternate to the OSBA annual business meeting and the OSBA Capitol Conference on November 14th of 2022.
Support.
Questions or discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver.
Yes, motion carries. This time, we need a motion for the Evergreen Local Board of Education to enter a day treatment purchase service agreement with AMG Education Services LLC, a special needs education company for the sole purpose of providing educational services in accordance with placement at the LEAP program. Students' placement will be at per diem rate of $145 per student. The 21-22 rate was $140 as well. Questions or discussion?
How many students we usually have on this?
We didn't have
Roughly.
any last year. We had it approved that we were looking at 1 student. There's a potential for 2 students for this school year.
Okay, thank you.
Where is A&G Education Services located?
It is off of Airport Highway in Holland. I believe the A&G is the parent company out of Berea, Ohio. LEAP is the facility here.
Any further questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver.
Yes, motion carries. This time, we need a motion to approve the following overnight trip for Evergreen Ag students, FFA members, teacher Alexis Powell, and parent chaperones to travel to the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana, for workshops and educational leadership opportunities. Students will stay at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis, 251 Pennsylvania Parkway, Indiana, 46-80, attending Rosa Park on October 26th, 22, and return on October 28th of 22. The trip cost will be paid through student contributions and FFA alumni.
So moved.
Questions or discussion? Is this something we usually do?
Yes.
Roll call?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Beckler,
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler.
Yes, motion carries. All right, we need a motion for the Evergreen Local Board of Education to support the educational option program administered by the Wood County Educational Service Center for the Wood County Juvenile Detention Center, the Juvenile Residential Center, the Northwest Ohio, and the Wood County Alternate School. For the 22-23 school year, the Evergreen Board of Education agrees to pay $80 per student per day for the detention center. Last year it was $79, $85 per student per day for the residential center, which was $85 last year, and $70 per student per day for long-term placement at the alternative school. Last year was $68.
So moved.
Questions or discussion?
Same question. How many kids we have usually do this?
Hopefully none, it varies, but minimal.
Okay.
One or two.
Okay.
Workplace.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Beckler,
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler.
Yes, motion carries. All right, Mr. Small, would you like to continue on with discussion and information?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to move over here. I have a few slides to share with everyone. First item is for informational purposes. Before we get to the slides, Lindsay Abrams will be transferring from a 4-hour bus route to a 2-hour route for the upcoming school year. Just wanted that on the agenda for documentation purposes. Looking at our income tax renewal, I had mentioned last month that Mr. Brian Hansel, the chairman of the levy committee, has been working to prepare for the upcoming levy. I will be asking him to present at the September board meeting to update the board on the committee's efforts and plans for that renewal campaign. Some questions have come up this week that I wanted to share with you in the community and provide some information related to that. Evergreen is currently funded by 3 income tax levies that, when combined, totals 1.5%. The levy breakdown includes 0.75%, which is a continuing levy, 0.5%, which expires in 2024, and then 0.25% that is expiring in December of this year. It is that 0.25% that is up for renewal on the November 8th ballot. So that is the breakdown. I know there was some confusion that this renewal was going to increase. That is not the case. The 0.25% renewal levy is not a new tax. It is not an increase. It's not more money, and it's not new money. So it will keep us funded where we have been for the previous 4 years. The district administration is developing a frequently asked questions page to put on the district website to provide community information about this levy renewal. A few questions that we received this week: what percentage of the district's income comes from property tax? What percentage of the district's income comes from income tax? Does the district have to send any of our income tax money to the state, or do we get to keep all of the income tax money that comes in? So looking at that revenue by source. So looking at where our revenue comes from over the last 4 years, we went back 4 years because that is the last time it impacted when the last change was when the board reduced the income tax rate by 0.25%. It's been steady the last 4 years based on that. And the breakdown, where our money comes from that we use for operating in the general fund. Income tax is 30.4%. Real estate tax 30.7%. And the remaining 38.9% is from state funding. That gets us to 100% of revenue for the district. So not quite thirds, but income tax, real estate, and state funding. To the question, does any money go back to the state on our income tax? We do pay minimal administrative fees to the state for processing our income tax dollars. Out of line with not a significant amount. Another question came up, what are the funds used for? The use of funds are for academic programs, student activities, and our teachers and staff. So that revenue that's coming in goes into the general fund, and here's the breakdown. It's providing education services to the students of the district. Any questions? I will continue to give more and more information as we get closer to the levy at these meetings. As I said, Mr. Hansen hopefully will be here in September to also share his efforts as the committee chair. Any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Small. We will start our administrative report with Mrs. Brown. Oh, I guess there is, oh my goodness, there's two. We'll start with Mrs. Cheryl Brown. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to say I am very, very excited about the school year. It's a breath of fresh air to come here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to serve. Everyone has been welcoming. The staff meeting this morning was amazing. Through the warm welcome, I feel like I've had the opportunity to learn, grow, and collaborate a lot with the staff. So I appreciate that time to come in May and June and July, because those steps have helped me along the way to feel prepared to get started. I did have a chance to meet with our building leadership team and each grade level team to discuss ideas. They shared a lot, which kind of gave me a vision for where we're going. And our kindergarten team had a great informational meeting the other night. I do want to say that in the 31 years, going on 32 years I've been in education, never once have I ever been to an informational meeting before school started. So that says a lot about the staff over at the elementary, that they're willing to go above and beyond. They have things prepared and ready to go. And it's really, really, really neat to see. Excited to welcome all of our families tomorrow night for open house. We have some flyers available. We have parent pickup passes available with an explanation sheet. I did send out an instant alert to all of those families so that they're prepared and ready for open house night and all the things that will be available for them. So I also got to collaborate with Carrie Brown, which was great. We talked over the phone many, many times. And she was able to already set up our bus safety days for the elementary, so I really appreciated that. The teachers did appreciate the calendar and the schedule ahead of time so that they could get things prepared and ready, so we have that set and ready to go. We are going to kick off a welcome assembly on August 26th. It is going to be a lot of fun. So if you have time to come at 1:45, we are going to just get our students excited and pumped up to be back to school. And Molly Yutzi, imagine that, she has offered to kind of take the lead on that. So I'm excited to see what she has in store for all of us. Again, we do have our parent pickup system that we're going to put in place. Mr. Doble was very, very helpful in creating a map with a diagram of the new traffic flow over at the elementary. So hopefully that will be helpful this year too, to keep all of our students, our parents, everyone safe. So that's all I have from now.
Can I ask about pickup? So the passes,
Yes.
is that something, I guess, how, what, the whole vision of what that is? I got my alert and I didn't.
So what we're going to do is we have car placards that you put on your rear view mirror. You can pull up and pick up your child. We will be out there with radios, radioing for that number. We'll have teachers that are assisting inside, which will then send the student outside. We have 2 teachers, along with myself, that will be out there making sure the students get in the appropriate car. Those passes you must have in order to pick up your child. If parents want to walk up to the door, they just need to bring the pass up to the door. Otherwise, if they're without a pass, they'll just have to go into the main office, show their ID, to make sure that our students are getting off safely. I did utilize it in my last building and it worked very, very well. Makes everyone feel much more comfortable about who our students are going home with. And it's been successful. We're also going to have 2 separate lines instead of 1 line. We want to make sure that the flow of traffic doesn't get backed up out in the road. So we are going to have flow of traffic going in both directions with arrows. Brett Miller's going to provide us with some signs so that we feel prepared and ready to go.
I was at the kindergarten meeting. I thought you did a great job, you and your team. There's a lot of good information. I'm excited to see how this pickup system works. I'm glad you were able to get it all implemented so quickly. But it sounds like everybody's ready to go. Let us know if you need anything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A question, I haven't been down there. The parking lot at that one, did they take care of that back spot?
I knew that there were a few potholes in front. To my understanding, they did.
Okay.
But I plan to follow up with Brent.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Small, did you got anything for Mr. Burkholder?
Just want to let you know, Mr. Burkholder is down doing 6th grade orientation, which is why he is not here, but he did want to extend a thank you to MVP for extending their service into the middle school. He is excited to have their support and help, and we appreciate everything that MVP does at the elementary, so look forward to them working with the middle school as well.
Thank you. Mr. Rupert.
Hi, good evening. First, I want to highlight, if you're going through the parking lot, take a look at some of the parking spaces. Our seniors were able to pay and reserve a parking space, and then they came out Saturday and got those painted. A huge thank you to Amanda Manning, Spike Holiday, and Amy Langgraffer. They were brains behind this. They organized, they put a lot of time of their own, so thank you to them. Be sure to check out those parking spaces. We do have more that are getting painted on this coming Saturday. We also have a lot of other things planned throughout the school year. Beginning of August, I met with student leaders. I'm excited. There's a bunch of kids and staff who just have a bunch of great ideas, whether it's pep assemblies, competitions, things throughout the year to start to build some culture and get some excitement in the high school. So be prepared as we get going through the year. I think we're going to have a lot of new ideas there. Scheduled pickup took place on August 9th. I do just want to publicly say, be patient with scheduling. We don't have a full-time counselor, but thank you to Dr. Swainford, who's been a huge help on making sure we're making changes. So if parents, if there's issues, they can call the high school office and we'll get them taken care of. Want to recognize the athletic boosters. They did donate $3,000 worth of weight equipment into the weight room, and I believe we're waiting on a couple more donations, so we should have more equipment in the weight room. And I put this on it because there's been questions. The athletic pocket schedules have been printed. We have those, and they're being distributed, so they're in all the offices. Dylan's going to get them out to businesses, so those are ready. Ready to hear the kids come. It's all
They're out, there has been more already.
Dylan's on top of it. So.
I do want to tell you, I have got 2 comments about how quickly there was some scheduling conflicts and they were resolved. So I have that. They were very happy with how quickly they were taken care
We were trying to hustle. So just be patient.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
Thank you very much. Mrs. Carrie Brown.
Okay, I'm gonna start off with, we had a route meeting on Wednesday and all the routes were distributed since then. There's been lots of changes, so I've been working hard at getting those changes made and updating the cover school, and final forms isn't quite updated with the new route bus numbers and stuff. But I did send out an email to all parents on their bus schedules, so they know where they're picking up. They're being picked up if it's an alternate address and being dropped off in the times. Let's see, Tuesday, tomorrow night, we're gonna get the open house for the elementary open house. So the ones who meet their bus drivers, families, meet their drivers, and we'll have one of our drivers, our onboard instructor, who will be out in the bus lot with her bus in case there's any questions or, for the new ones, go over bus rules and stuff. I'm happy that we're gonna have the Silk Service Road open again, so that'll cut down on all the traffic on County Road 6. So this year we have 20 AM and PM routes, 1 PM and route, but there's one full route, which is Jeff Simon's route, that is not filled yet. We have 2 people that are being trained right now, so hopefully grab that. Yeah, a few days this year that we have to transport Holy Trinity, so I'm working on that. Our first one is September. With those routes. We have 3 new buses coming. It should be January, I think that's the last we heard, right?
Well, I'm hoping to get them a little sooner, but
Those will be coming. Buses are gonna all been serviced over the summer, and we have one that's still out. We have to pick up. I will be checking the weather conditions in the morning. With other people, communicating with other districts, and
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Mr. Samoa.
Just a couple items that maybe repeats. We're ready and excited for the start of the new school year with students in the buildings on Wednesday. District and building meetings took place this morning. Teachers will be in the rooms working tomorrow, and everybody is ready for students on Wednesday. As Mr. Ruford mentioned, we're still looking for a high school counselor for this school year. We do have a plan in place to provide services to our students in the interim. Good news at the middle school level, the Evergreen Middle School did receive a $50,000 grant from Senate Bill 310 School Safety Grant Program. These funds will be used to update building security devices. Looking forward, there are more grants available, and we are collaborating with the Fulton County Sheriff Department and Metamora Fire Department for safety fund grants to improve our emergency response communications for the district and surrounding community. So we hope that collaborating with them, the 3 organizations can secure additional funds to help our communications. And the last item I had, our district website has been revamped and hopefully streamlined and easier to navigate. So if you haven't been on the district website, please check it out. We've eliminated some tabs, we've added some department areas. The goal is 2 clicks to arrive at anything you're looking for. Any questions? The redesign is nice. I mean, I think it's more functional. Thank you, that was the goal.
Any board members with questions or concerns? I know we got the cardinal email from you. What was your decision on that?
I think if the trade-in value of each bus would be a good compromise, I believe. That was what I stated in the email. That keeps a good relationship between us and Cardinal.
Great.
Any further questions or concerns? All right, a motion to adjourn the August 15th, 2022 regular meeting of the Evergreen Local Board of Education. Roll call.
Right. Yes. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith. Yes. Mr. Bakula. Yes. Mrs. Keeler.
Yes.